My name is MJ, and today we're going to be talking about the immortal part of myself. The immortal part of myself is my second book, and it releases March 31st, 2023, officially. However, the hardback and the paperbacks are available now. The ebook will be available on Kindle Unlimited, and there is a special pre-order price going for um, the ebook until the release date of March 31st, at which point it will go back to its regular price. So, what is The Immortal Part of Myself, and why should you read it? The Immortal Part of Myself is a dual perspective science fiction novel. To start with, I'm going to read the book description. Riley has lived her whole life as an elite daughter of one of the 5 ruling Orphan corporations. She was supposed to be a beautiful figurehead working behind the scenes to help her husband, but the dresses they stuff her in are uncomfortable, social situations leave her confused, and she never really has been a woman. When she was diagnosed with autism, her father's only hope was to marry her off. As she aged, her usefulness to her husband has diminished, and he plans on trading her for someone younger. Divorce isn't legal, but murder is, as long as you don't get caught. Except Riley has never been as helpless as they believed. She has a gift for navigating technology, one that has led her to lead her own rebellion. But to see her ultimate plan succeed, she needs to survive long enough. Her only solution is to get off the planet. When Maddie, a Martian ambassador headed home, sees Riley for the first time, she knows her life will never be the same. Riley needs help, and Maddie wants to step in to save her, even though she doesn't know what she is saving her from. The more the two women come together, the more Maddie falls in love. But what happens when the person you love cannot love you the same way? So I started writing the immortal part of myself during COVID lockdown. After I had finished the draft of my first book, In Between. And In Between was really important to me because there just was not enough single parent and adult women represented in literature with autism. And so I really wanted to produce something that allowed that representation. But with the immortal part of myself, I wanted to do something that was for me a bit more personal. And this is, I call it an adult coming of age story. Because about this time, my children were becoming adults and needed me less and less. And so I was given the time that I never really had, having children younger, to come to discover my own, not really discover, to actually explore my own identity. And I had come came out as non-binary in limited circles prior to writing the immortal part of myself. But as I was writing this novel, I started to come out more publicly. And so, to me, the immortal part of myself is kind of a conversation about what happens if an adult isn't given a safe space to explore their identity when they're younger, and they then need to do so as adults. Because not everyone is raised in a queer accepting space, and not everyone has access to the language to talk about their own identity, so that they can express it. But not only that, not everyone has the luxury to focus on their own identity because there's other areas of safety or other areas of priority that come before this journey of self-discovery. And so I wanted to represent that in adult literature, because you see that more in young adult, but not everyone who is trans comes out when they're younger. Um, I also wanted to use it as a way to have a conversation about genderqueerness and just acceptance of society. And so the reader, if they're not familiar with why someone would be talking about identity, they can kind of learn with Riley as she is given language that she needs to process who she is and given a safe space to process who she is. Um, Riley is not me, but I would say Riley takes a lot from me, or I put a lot of myself into Riley. But as I wrote her, she definitely became her own character with her own concerns and her own way to navigate the world. Maddie is someone very different from myself. Maddie is a Martian. She was raised on Mars in a very accepting environment. And Maddie has known that she is female and known that she is primarily attracted to other females since a very young age, and that was just okay. But she also knows that that's not the way things were for everybody. And so she kind of takes a sense of wanting to help the world, and chooses to become a, a politician on Mars. And part of being a politician means that they have to do a 3-year stint on Earth as ambassadors. And so when the story starts, Maddie has done her 3 years on Earth and is headed home. But she has her own journey in this novel because she realizes that even though she just spent 3 years on the planet, that she may not have discovered as much as she needed to truly understand why people would be leaving Earth and why Earth is the way it is. And so as Maddie integrates with Riley more, they um, they kind of have their own relationship, but this is not a romance. Um, I don't write romance, and I tried when I first wrote this. I tried to push it to be a romance because I was getting so much pushback on In Between that it was an aromantic and asexual representation book. And my editor actually called me out on it and was like, why are you doing this? This is not what it is. And I had to take a step back and I had to agree that's not what this is. It was never that. And so this, though not explicitly stated, Riley is aromantic and asexual. That's just part of who she is. Although in this book, I don't think she's quite at the point of truly understanding every aspect of herself. But at heart, this is a science fiction novel, a genre that I absolutely love. The majority of this novel actually takes place on a spaceship traveling between Earth and Mars. It is a standalone novel. However, um, it is possible that at some point I will expand and do it in a companion novel because I have ideas lurking in the back of my mind for it, but I don't think I will come back to these two specific characters again. But I'm really proud of what I put into this book. I think I've definitely grown as an author since my first book, In Between, and I hope to grow from this to my next book. But I'm really happy with what I was able to produce as the immortal part of myself, getting it ready to publish, and I really hope that you will give it a chance, give it a read, and hopefully enjoy it. So, a fun fact about both of my books. Both the cover for In Between and The Immortal Part of Myself were actually hand illustrated by my youngest non-binary child. When they illustrated In Between, they had just turned 17. I believe they may have been 16 when they did it. And for The Immortal Part of Myself, they were 17. when they illustrated it. So I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to share this with them and that they're able to put their artwork onto my stories. And I hope that we will be able to continue collaborating moving forward, because it just makes my books that much extra special. If you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, please leave a comment down below. But otherwise, keep writing, keep reading, and until next time.